5'9", 190 pounds.
Yeah, I didn't think that was him, but we went with it. That pass incomplete.
Looks like he may have taken the jersey from somebody that was 5'9", 120 pounds.
You look bigger.
Yeah, it certainly has a snug Euro fit out there.
Sometimes you got to go with that.
There you go.
Maybe he got blood on this. Who knows?
Yeah, that's where we go.
Jacob Ball under pressure. He's sacked back at midfield.
And Tarburton again in on the sack.
He's had some good plays for the freshman.
That they've gotten a good rush up front. They've done a good job of collapsing the pocket. Even when the starters were out there, they did a good job. So if you got to look to one of the bright spots or group on the team that you can certainly build around, it's going to be that defensive front for that Golden Eagles ball club.
So the Rams' last shutout, Travis, back in 2015, and we all know what happened in 2015. The Rams made the NCAA Division II football championship game before losing in that game to Northwest Missouri State University 34-7, but it was a shutout over West Virginia Wesleyan in the season opener on Saturday, September 5th, 2015. The last shutout for the Rams. They have a chance to get that shutout here today. Again, not a team necessarily known for having the best defense in the country, but a decent group. And this year we talked about it too. I mean, they got a lot of good pieces. And today it's all came together so far for Shepherd, looking to get that first shutout since 2015. 55-0 Rams, 7:05 to go. Clarion back on the field with Sanderson in the offense and a lot of new faces on the field for the Shepherd defense, in particular with that front seven and even in the secondary. A couple of guys we've seen rotate like Corey Shell out there, but doesn't look like any starters really on the field for the Rams. They'll run up the middle once again with Kyrie Marshall, who again maybe is a number change. We're not certain. But he does look about his size, 5'10", 185. Again, a freshman, so while he's listed as a linebacker, probably has the ability to play running back. Maybe they've converted him halfway through the season, and he picks up 4 there. Second down and 6 now from the 29. 6.5 minutes to go. It's senior day for the Rams. And Marshall running hard again, but back to the 30-yard line. Gain of about 1. So it'll be 3rd and 5.
And again, you look at this Rams defensive unit.
Even
the only thing that they're really lacking is just size up front. But other than that, I mean, they check every box that you can possibly think of. They have speed, they have experience, they have talent, they have depth, they have playmaking abilities.
Undersized defensive linemen have made plays that stand out to you at times. Sanderson throws high and incomplete. He wanted Jimmy Johnson, but pass was over and incomplete. The 6'3" Johnson, and again, 4th down. And again, Clarion goes 3 now. That has been the second half in one sentence. Clarion goes 3 now. Now, what also has happened a lot is some punting miscues by Clarion throughout this second half.
And that's you look at, if you talk about the Rams' defensive front being a bit small, you look at that punting group out there for the Golden Eagles. That's a very small group of guys that's out there.
Yeah, probably a lot of young guys. We know they've lost some players to injuries and just guys kind of getting frustrated, losing their spot on the team. Here's Gontarek returning this punt. So then that sets up situations where normal guys that would be on the punt unit become starters, and then they're not going to be on the punt unit anymore, and guys that probably wouldn't even have expected to play this year have to go on the special teams unit. So it's definitely tough, and we've seen Shepherd get after it a bit on special teams along with offense and defense. So 5:43 to go in this one. The Rams will look to just run this clock out and maybe expire this final 5:43 off the clock, and like we said, get that first shutout since 2015.
And luckily for us, the Rams decided to call off the dogs on that last punt attempt, because if they would have blitzed again, we would have been here till sundown.
We might still end up doing that. Who knows? New quarterback for the Rams. They'll dump it down underneath. Looks like that will be
a bunch of flags
Timmy Townsend
on both sides of the field.
The sophomore from Hagerstown, Maryland. I haven't seen Townsend yet this season, but he's getting an opportunity to play. But like you mentioned, a few different penalties on that play will bring back that reception. So they'll pick up the penalty, originally ruling an ineligible man downfield, but then realizing, well, the pass was caught behind the line of scrimmage, so therefore there is no ineligible man downfield.
So think about your typical screen pass,
right,
where the offensive linemen are getting downfield trying to get a body on somebody, but the running back catches the ball behind the field, or maybe it's a screen out to the wide receiver. That's why they're able to go downfield and block somebody and not get an offensive pass interference or ineligible man downfield.
So, new running back as well, A.J. Apple running hard behind his offensive line. Townsend in at quarterback, as we mentioned, with a completely new group out there on offense for the Rams. The final 5 minutes to go in this 55-0 will be a victory.
You know you got depth when you have a backup for your mop-up guys. You know you got a lot of depth.
And you know probably, too, it's the last game of the season, at least the regular season. So this is probably the last opportunity for these guys to get on the field. So you want to at least get a little bit of a look at them, get them an opportunity to show what they can do as an offensive unit. Because like we said, there are a ton of seniors on the Shepherd team, so there will be some opportunities next year to get some playing time, and you're going to have to figure out maybe who can replace some of those guys. What you see out of the Clarion coaching staff, those guys still coaching hard out here in this final game. 3rd down and 8 from the 41. Townsend will throw. He throws over the middle, complete inside the 30-yard line. Pretty good pass. And all the way down inside the 20-yard line for Shepherd. And it looks like Malachi Brown, who has a touchdown today on the blocked punt. There he's able to make a nice catch and pick up the 1st down.
Townsend showed some nice zip on that ball. He really got it in there in the hurry.
And again, we don't completely know what Azerbaijan's future will be. A redshirt junior with another year of eligibility. Tyson Bajan. I was thinking of Ezra because, well, he's the Martinsburg quarterback. Maybe his future will be at Shepherd as well. And then you won't have to worry about the potential quarterback. But Malachi Brown running there on the I mean, a guy like Townsend definitely will have an opportunity potentially as the backup next season for the Rams.
Plus, I mean, you also had to factor in the Rams have shown that they're not too shy as far as bringing in players from other schools, as far as like graduate transfers. So, I mean, that could just as easily be the heir apparent after Tyson Bajan makes his decision.
Right. And, of course, he is a local guy, so maybe that factors in. He does end up sticking around, but certainly has the talent if he wants to move up. We talked about that a few weeks now when these games have kind of got out of hand. We get to see some of these young quarterbacks behind Bajan. 2.5 minutes to go. 55-0 Shepherd. The Rams, again, waiting that Kutztown Slippery Rock final to see if they have a chance at that 1 seed or will stay at the 2 spot. If Kutztown were to lose to Slippery Rock, the Rams have a very good chance of moving up to 1. Townsend looking to throw here. He'll dump it down to Brown in the slot. Brown inside the 10. And it will be 4th down, but Malachi Brown showing some good things here. We've seen him a little bit in garbage time. And, already seen him do some good things in the return game, a little bit on special teams, and also they're blocking the punt earlier. So a guy with maybe some potential with Gontarek departing and Greg Leonard departing in the wide receiver spots, there definitely is going to be some opportunities for Shepherd wide
Moss will
receivers.
be gone as well.
Yep. Here's Allen, and I think he's going to be short of the first down. Down to the 6. We'll see exactly where they spot this. It will be a turnover on downs for Shepherd. So with 1:26 to go in this ball game, Clarion will take back over. The Rams looking to get to 10-1 on the season now, and Clarion will finish the season winless at 0-10.
But in that 2019, we're in a very similar situation. That was a veteran, senior-laden wide receiver core, and the big question coming into this season is who are they going to have at that wide receiver position? They certainly had no problems reloading.
And they got some transfers, obviously.
Got some transfers. But, I mean, you're still going to have Beach in that wide receiving core. You're still going to have Josh Pulse coming back. So, I mean, you still have some very good young talent to build around. And the Rams certainly put in that work as far as bringing in graduate transfers as well.
And, again, presuming if you have Bajent, it won't matter too much. Obviously, you know, those are talented wide receivers, but he seems to be able to make a lot of guys look good no matter who he's playing with. So if you have a good quarterback, as long as you have decent wide receivers, they can excel.
And Bajent is the type of quarterback that can make his wide receivers better.
So no gain on that play. Be second down and 10. Sanderson with a minute to go takes the snap. Rams are off sides. They'll throw a deep ball way out of bounds and incomplete. You can even argue, yeah, they're going to throw pass interference there, trying to hit Johnson here on this near side. And in coverage for Shepherd was Clayton Batten.
And you like seeing that from your young quarterback. He knows that they were offsides and knew he had the penalty, knew it was a free play, and so he took his shot downfield.
Yeah, Sanderson's done some decent things, but unfortunately for him, he really didn't get a chance to come, or he came back into this game, so it kind of got him out of any rhythm he did have.
Those dreaded third downs just kept coming up.
Yeah, and then really, you know, when they went to Eggers, it seemed like it was 30 and out almost every drive. First down and 10 here after they get the first down with the penalty with 54 seconds to go in this fourth quarter. Final few plays of this ball game in the Clarion season. Shepherd looking to get this win here on Senior Day and go out and get ready for the postseason. There's a short run. Not much yardage there, gain of about 1. So Clarion will have to run at least one more play here. It's about an 8-second, or more than that, maybe like a 13-second difference between game clock and play clock. Well, now they're going to reset the play clock, so they don't have to run a play, I guess, if they don't want to, but they probably will elect to. We'll see. They don't look too interested here on the outside. And now with the play clock off, it does look like Clarion's going to let the time run out. And the Rams are going to get this win, 55-0 here on Senior Day. It's a happy Senior Day for Shepherd. They'll celebrate this one, move to 10-1. Clarion finishes the season winless at 0-10. The Rams will be back either next week or 2 weeks from now for a home playoff game. And we'll just kind of keep you updated on that throughout the week on the Sports Mix. Once we find out those rankings, probably tomorrow, I would think, but maybe a little bit later, so we'll see when officially that gets announced. But the Rams victorious here today, and overall, I think the best performance of the year. It seems like each week Shepherd does one thing to do something a little bit better and play that much better, and that's how it's been over the last few weeks.
And that's how you really want to have your team building towards that goal of playing your best football at the end of the season, and they were certainly able to do that. The offense has been hitting on all cylinders throughout the year, but what you really wanted is for the defense to get on that level, and today the special teams got on that level.
All right, we'll head to the Palace Lounge postgame show. Once again, Shepherd with the victory, 55-0 over Clarion. We'll take a 2-minute break and then be back to break it all down here from Ram Stadium.
Don't get left out in the cold. Call Roach Energy at 304-263-3329 for your propane and oil needs.
The right attorney can make all the difference in the outcome of your case.
I called Sutton and Janelle, the best lawyers you could ask for.
Sutton and Janelle Attorneys at Law. 70 years of collective legal experience. Family law, criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, and mediation.
Sutton and Janelle got the most favorable outcome I could have expected.
Visit Sutton and Janelle's new historic location, 224 West King Street in Martinsburg. Online at suttonandjanelle.com. Sutton and Janelle Attorneys at Law. They value your rights and are passionate about your success.
The Palace Lounge in Martinsburg has a brand new list of daily specials. Monday, stop on in for burger night or enjoy a nice juicy steak every Tuesday and Wednesday. The Palace Lounge also offers freshly steamed shrimp Thursdays and chef specials every Friday and Saturday. Sunday is all-day breakfast and there are drink specials daily too. So come enjoy the Palace Lounge. You can find them on Facebook or call 304-267-7520. The Palace Lounge is located at 1350 Edwin Miller Boulevard.
Don't hibernate this winter. Call Roach Energy at 304-263-3329 for your propane and oil needs.
It's the post-game show as we recap the scoring, bring you stats and analysis, scores from around the PSAC and Super Region 1, the Division 1 Top 25, and the latest on the West Virginia University Mountaineers and Marshall University Thundering Herd. Let's get it started as we go back to the field and rejoin our TV10 broadcast team.
Welcome back to Ram Stadium here for the Palace Lounge post-game show. Nick Verzolini, Travis Smith here on the post-game show. Shepherd with the 55-0 win over Clarion today on Senior Day for the Rams. The first shutout since September 5th of 2015 when Shepherd shut out West Virginia Wesleyan. And it was an overall great performance by the Rams, Travis, and a lot of positives. And like we said right before we went to break, the Rams continue to build and get better heading into this postseason, and now await the final between Slippery Rock and Kutztown in the PSAC championship. We believe if Kutztown were to lose today to Slippery Rock, the Rams would then go from 2-1. Kutztown would drop down, but still probably be a playoff team. Slippery Rock probably won't jump Shepherd, so they would then have home field advantage throughout the playoffs, which is, of course, the hope for Shepherd, and, of course, have a bye next week as well, which would be huge.
I mean, and that's why you want to go out there and play the way that you do, especially like against teams like this late in the season, because you're playing for a bigger goal. Of course, you want to win that game, and you don't want to overlook any of your opponents. But when you have a team that has this much talent, that has these kind of aspirations, you want to take care of business so that way you can play in front of your home crowds, you can sleep in your own bed, and you really want to play for that championship. That was the main reason why you see so many of those graduate guys choosing to stay behind, choosing to use that extra year of eligibility because they felt like they have a legitimate shot at winning a championship. So you want to do all the small things that's going to help you do that, and one of the big things you can do is get that home field advantage. So they were able to take care of things as much as they could on their end. Now they need Slippery Rock to kind of help them out some.
Which is a lot to ask, because I'm sure Slippery Rock wants the PSAC championship, but I don't know if they want to help out Shepherd necessarily, but and that Kutztown team, as we get into this playoffs and what they've done this year, you look at some of their scores and they're like closer than you expect, but they just seem to have a style of play that allows them to play really good even against elite teams, even if they don't have like anything really elite about their team necessarily. They just find a way to get wins, and they're certainly holding a 4-point lead right now in the fourth quarter against Slippery Rock, who appears to be a pretty good team, and maybe on paper you would think could beat Kutztown, but at least it's going to be a tough one if they're going to do that.
Certainly a team that can fly under the radar, because you're looking – I think we've kind of been bombarded by stats and big numbers by covering Shepherd during the season. So when you look at a team like Kutztown, nothing really jumps off the sheet at you. And like even coming into the game where Kutztown was playing Shepherd, we really didn't expect that type of performance, especially from their quarterback. So, like you said, I mean, all you can do is beat the opponents that you face, and it may not be by a wide margin, but a W is still a W no matter how you get it. So, cuts down to showing you one thing: they know how to win football games, and that's a talent unto itself.
Yeah, you don't get any extra points for winning in style. I mean, you might in some eyes of the people that make these decisions in terms of playoffs, but I mean, Kutztown has the win over Shepherd, so that certainly has helped them a lot this year as well. And the Rams are probably thinking they really wish they had that one, but obviously too late now to worry about it. And if you're in the playoffs, you're in the playoffs. If you're a top 2 seed, you're a top 2 seed. You're going to have, good positioning to make a run come playoff time. So that's really the focus. I mean, they want that bye week, but if they don't get it, they're in the playoffs. So they still have, like they say, if you're in the dance, you got a chance.
Absolutely. All you need is the invitation to the party. So they've already taken care of that part. Now everything's kind of out of their hands. And something you'll hear a lot of coaches saying in pretty much every sport, you want to focus on the things that you can't control. And what they can't control is how they're able to go out there on the field and take care of business. So let all those other people make all those decisions. As long as they got a football when they show up, they're ready to party.
For Clarion, it's a winless season. There is a lot to build on potentially. But it's just been a rough year for this Clarion team, and obviously, to finish the year winless wasn't what they wanted. But they have a very young team and could be a team next year that gets better, maybe sits in the middle of the pack, opposed to this year where they're obviously at the bottom.
Like you mentioned, you got a lot of young players. They got a lot of experience this year. The coach going into the offseason, the first thing he needs to do is to sincerely thank all those guys for sticking in, staying in the fight throughout the year. That is not easy. Football is a grueling sport in the best of circumstances. When you go out there and you're not able to get any wins during the course of a season, you better thank those guys for staying in there and fighting with you, because that's a tough job to ask. And hopefully, through that grit and through that toughness those guys have faced, any type of adversity that's come their way. So hopefully you have a group that's that much more gritty, that much more tough when they come back next year. They got that experience. They're tough. They're going to stay in the fight with you, and that's a foundation that you can build on.
All right, we'll take another 2-minute break. On the other side of that break, Travis and I will get the stats in. We'll get Travis's awards for the game, and then we'll kind of just wrap things up here from Rams Stadium. This is Shepherd University Rams football on TV 10 and WRNR TV on YouTube.
Hi, this is Lauren from Orsini's right here in Martinsburg. Grilling is not just for the boys. We are a Platinum Traeger dealer carrying the Pro Series all the way up to the Timberline Series. We have every flavor of wood pellets along with accessories, rubs, sauces. Not just Traeger, we carry Utz, Meat Church, Lanes, and Dizzy Pig. We also carry a full line of Yeti products. Orsini's has everything to complete your backyard. Visit us at 360 Hack Wilson Way or at Orsinis.com.
The Palace Lounge in Martinsburg has a brand new list of daily specials. Monday, stop on in for burger night or enjoy a nice juicy steak every Tuesday and Wednesday. The Palace Lounge also offers freshly steamed shrimp Thursdays and chef specials every Friday and Saturday. Sunday is all-day breakfast, and there are drink specials daily too. So come enjoy the Palace Lounge. You can find them on Facebook or call 304-267-7520. The Palace Lounge is located at 1350 Edwin Miller Boulevard.
Remember when you were a little kid and saw your first deer?
Oh, how cute.
As an adult, maybe you've had a different experience.
Where'd that come from?
Bambi mess up your dream machine? Call Cody's Auto Body today at 304-901-4777 and get the work done right the first time. Cody's Auto Body, 851 Wilston Street in Martinsburg, has a team of auto body professionals with a lifetime of experience putting your ride back together again, regardless of how it got that way. Cody's Auto Body.
See that Honda badge? It reveals more than the Ridgeline's maker. It's a testament to endurance and Honda ingenuity. So when the terrain ahead is full of challenges, brace yourself. The Honda Ridgeline is about to amaze you. Rise to the challenge with the rugged performance of the Honda Ridgeline.
CMA's Honda of Winchester, 3985 Valley Pike. CMA, moving lives forward.
We welcome you back to the Palace Lounge post-game show. I think personally, Travis Smith, happy to have you with us here as we take a look add some numbers here in just a moment, but the Palace Lounge post-game show. Palace Lounge located on Edwin Miller Boulevard in Martinsburg with a full lunch and dinner menu with daily specials and a clean, comfortable atmosphere. Check out the menu on the Palace Lounge Facebook page. Now let's get into some stats from this ball game. We'll start with some team numbers that just jump off the sheet to you. First downs, 34 for Shepherd, just 7 for Clarion today. Very rough second half for the Golden Eagles. The Rams averaging nearly 8 yards a play throughout this ball game. Time of possession, 36 minutes, 45 seconds, for Shepherd compared to 23 minutes and 15 seconds for Clarion. Clarion was 2 of 11 on third down. Shepherd 8 of 13. So a big difference in the team numbers. We go to the individuals and we take a look at the Shepherd offense first. And Tyson Bajan, another great day through the air, 32 of 45, 4 touchdowns. That pick early, but didn't really matter too much. 447 yards for him. He just continues to rack it up offensively, the nation's leader in passing yards, and has a good chance to be the player of the year in Division II college football.
Put no numbers like he does today, and that's been a regular occurrence. He's done everything on his end to make that happen.
Ryan Beach, 9 catches, 140 yards, and a score. And early on, I mean, it seems like that was the Beach that we saw really early in the year, and he hasn't gone away, but he's definitely not had as big of games like he did today, and he was back making a lot of key catches for this team throughout the game. Gonteric, he continues to play well, 4 catches, 62 yards in the score. Ronnie Brown, 2 catches for 52 yards in that 39-yard touchdown. Wetzel, he got a touchdown as well, 2 catches, 45 yards. And, of course, rushing the football, Ty Hebron, 10 carries, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Ronnie Brown, 3 carries, for 36 yards and a touchdown. Shorts, 7 carries, 33 yards, no touchdowns for him. So Shepherd's offense, just, a well-oiled machine here in this 55-0 victory.
And you talked about Beach. Some of those numbers began to dip in the middle of the season, and a couple things can contribute to that. One, he is a redshirt freshman. We mentioned he's 5'6", 160 pounds, and football is a physical game. So just the wear and tear of a football season is going to make you lose a step. Also, the other thing, the defensive coaches for the opposing teams, they're getting game tape on you. So they're getting paid to win ball games. They're smart. They're good at what they do. So they're going to come up with a variety of different looks that's going to challenge you throughout the season. So, I mean, there's a couple different factors that you can think about as far as his production beginning to dip. But I just see you see the Rams, like you mentioned, getting him the ball in a variety of ways. We saw early in the season, the Rams even lined him up in the backfield. So maybe something where they're starting to do that. They're hitting him on jet sweeps, a little bit more bubble screens, does anything to get the ball in his hands because he's so dangerous in space that you really don't have to rely on just getting him the ball one way because he can blow the top off the defense or he can catch the ball behind the line of scrimmage and give you plenty of headaches too.
Yeah, and other guys have stepped up too, which I think maybe contributes to that a little bit. If you have other guys getting open, it's harder to get the ball just to one guy and have him make plays. But just some quick defensive numbers for you as well. Chris Lane, 6 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss for the Rams. Robinson, 5 tackles. Duckworth, 5 tackles. Holloway with 5 tackles. Addison with 4 tackles and 1 for a loss. Duckworth also at the interception today. A very nice interception catch. And then we'll get you some Clarion numbers. First for their offense. Trying to find it here. For some reason, having some issues.
As was the Clarion offense. McLaren, like we mentioned, just having some struggles up front. Just, you want to run the ball. You want to try to keep the ball out of the hands of that Rams offense. And having to rely on such a young offensive unit up front, like we mentioned, they had 3 freshmen up front. They had a sophomore, and I think they only had 1 junior up front. So, I mean, it's not enough just to have talent on the offensive line. You also need some seasoning up front that's going to open up some holes and give your quarterback a little bit of time.
All right, so the Clarion offensive numbers, and for some reason they weren't listed as Clarion. They were listed as a random number. I don't know why. But the Clarion offensive numbers, Sanderson, 8 of 16, 1 interception, just 53 yards passing. They went to Eggers in that second half, and he didn't do anything. He didn't complete a pass. 0 of 4 passing, 0 yards, obviously. So not a whole lot from the second-string quarterback. Probably would have had a little bit more success if they kept Sanderson in the ball game, but got to give other guys a look, I guess, especially in a game like this. Owens with 40 yards rushing on his 18 carries. Shepard holding into just 2.2 yards a carry. Barr, the punter, he was the highlight offensively. 1 carry for 13 yards. It was the best play, it seemed like, all day. It wasn't actually, but it was close. The 17 yards was their longest play of the day. Marshall, he comes in late, gets 4 carries for 10 yards. And then some receivers. Jimmy Johnson, he showed some nice things in this ball game. 3 catches, 37 yards. Owens, 2 catches, 4 yards. Ford, 1 catch for 3 yards. Corbin, 1 catch for 2 yards. Some good performances, though, on this defense. Hamden, we called his name a lot, but did you realize he made 19 tackles in the game today, Travis? He was flying over the football, around the football. Lipinski, 6 tackles. Blon, he had a nice day. 5 tackles, an interception, and a fumble recovery for him. And Lezak with 5 tackles as well. So those are your numbers, your post-game stats, brought to you by Dynamark Atlantic Security, reminding you, don't be a statistic. Protect your family, home, and business with the local alarm professionals at Dynamark Atlantic Security. Call Ben Copenhaver at 304-671-2158. And Travis, last but certainly not least, let's get into your awards here. We'll start with the electrifying play of the game, brought to you by Orsini's.
Well, for my electrifying play of the game, I'm going to have to go with Kendall Duckworth, the Shepherd linebacker, with his interception in the second quarter. It was a play. It was just a pure instinctual play. He was buzzing out into the flats to take away the flare pass from the running back. The quarterback was trying to zip the ball in behind him to a wide receiver sitting down and running a hitch, and Duckworth was able to jump and in midair able to catch the ball behind him. So he's going to be my nominee for electrifying play of the game.
All right, that's the electrifying play of the game, brought to you by Orsini's Home Store, not just an appliance store any longer. They're located at 360 Hack Wilson Way in Martinsburg, or go to Orsinis.com. Travis, or Cody's Body Shop collision of the game.
And again, we're going to go a little bit off script this time with the collision of the game. We're going to give it to an offensive player. Again, going to the Shepherd Rams wide receiver Josh Pulse. Not many times you hear a wide receiver getting a collision of the game, but he was able to catch the ball, and he was able to run over Drew Blon. We mentioned his name having a good game today. That was one of the few not good spots for Drew Blon, as Pulse was able to run him over. Blon's giving up a little bit of size that time, and we mentioned the big body that Pulse was able to play with, and that time he was able to impose his will and running over Drew Blon for the collision of the game.
Yeah, he's had some good blocks throughout the year as well, so Pulse definitely a physical wide receiver, and he able to earn that collision of the game. Brought to you by Cody's Body Shop, located at 851 Wilson Street in Martinsburg, family-owned, offering superior customer service and great pricing for a job done by experienced certified technicians. Call 304-901-4777 or visit their Facebook page. And Travis, last but certainly not least, the WVU Medicine Player of the Game. Maybe it needs a new name after this one, the Tyson Bajan Player of the Game.
Well, you named it right there, Tyson Bajan. He's going to get Player of the Game, completing 71% of his passes today for 447 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception early in the game. It really didn't affect anything, but just you're able to complete that high clip of passes, and it's just not dinks and dunks. He's taking shots downfield, racking up yards, getting the ball in the end zone. Just it's hard to go away from him. I mean, Beach had a heck of a ball game. There's some guys you could look to, but the way that Tyson Bajan is able to spread the ball out in the offense and incorporate all those different wide receivers with different styles out there on the field, you just got to give it up to the man.
Yeah, don't blame you. I mean, the last 3 games, I think he's won it, and for good reason. I believe 500 yards plus passing, then 600 yards plus, and then finishing out today with 400 yards plus.
Coming off last week, he was also the PSAC Offensive Athlete of the Week. He was also the D2Football.com Offensive Player of the Week. So
he's probably going to get the 3rd straight Offensive Player of the Week in the PSAC, and definitely a guy that will probably win PSAC East Offensive Player of the Year, I would imagine, as well. That's your WVU Medicine Player of the Game. WVU Medicine located in Berkeley and Jefferson Medical Centers, leading healthcare here and everywhere. Tyson Bagent taking home that award once again. Fortunately, he doesn't get to actually take anything home, but that will do it for this one. Shepherd, again, with their first shutout since the 2015 season opener. It's a 55 win over Clarion, and that'll do it for us. For Harry Brown, Donald Kinney, Matt Miller, Spencer Dupuis, and, of course, Travis Smith, I'm Nick Verzolini saying so long, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, but stay tuned. Colin McLaughlin coming up next with the Extra Point postgame show. Shepherd with the 55-0 win over Clarion.
Politicians in Washington are pushing a government takeover of Americans' energy consumption. They call it infrastructure. But it's just another bait and switch to enact Green New Deal policies that lead to fewer jobs, higher taxes, and more expensive utility bills for West Virginians. President Biden's so-called infrastructure plans would cost trillions, create a new tax on natural gas, move us closer to banning gas-powered vehicles, and create a crippling California-style renewable energy mandate, all while doing little, if anything, to improve the environment. West Virginians have proudly helped power our nation for decades, and we know the way to improve the environment is through innovation, not government mandates. Senator Manchin can defend our West Virginia values by stopping this extreme partisan power grab. Ask Senator Manchin to keep his promise. Go to wvvalues.org to learn how.
A reputation for caring, a legacy of service. At Brown Funeral Homes and Cremations, it's been our story since 1880. A family-owned business, we support the needs and wishes of families. We offer traditional services, as well as many options for cremation, customized remembrances, and pre-planning. Brown Funeral Homes and Cremations retains its family atmosphere and stays true to its roots. Contact us for advanced planning, or at your time of loss. We're here when you need us.
Erie Insurance says here's to the grown-ups who move, mortgage, mow, and still bust a move. But does your home insurance still fit? Erie helps you protect the home you've grown into, all at fair prices that are often less than the other guys. So how do you find the right coverage? Magic. Nope. Local independent agents who get to know you like this.
Your local Erie agent in Martinsburg is Smallwood and Small Insurance. Get a quote at smallwoodandsmall.com.
Erie Insurance.
Welcome into the Home Helpers Home Care of Martinsburg Extra Point post-game show. Colin McLaughlin here for TV10 and WRNR TV on YouTube. The final score from Ram Stadium on Senior Day, Shepherd wins 55-0 over Clarion. The Rams are now 10-1 overall. Clarion goes to 0-10 on the season. Let's look at the scores around the state as well as around the nation, but as I said, starting within the state, we have a couple more games in the West Virginia High School Football Playoffs Round 1. Let's look at Single A to start. You got the 8-9 matchup. At halftime, the 8th seed Wheeling Central leads the 9th seed Moorfield 21-0. And also some scores that have been updated. The 4th seed Ritchie County leads the 13th seed Clay Battelle 24-7 at the half. The number 3 seeded East Hardy Cougars are up 13-0 against the 14th seed Meadow Bridge. The only other score update for games currently going on today, the 6th seeded Williamstown just scored before the half against Greenbrier West to make it 21-6. Still waiting for score updates from Cameron and Gilmer County's game, as well as James Monroe and Trinity for Single A. As for Double A, only 2 games going on today, and it's a pretty close one for the 1 seed Herbert Hoover. They're playing the 16th seed Fairmont Senior, and at the half, it is 21-21, so keep an eye on that in Double A. The 3 seed Point Pleasant trailing the 14th seed Bluefield 24-7 at the half. Interesting to see Bluefield as a 14th seed. They are typically a better program seeding-wise, and they're showing why right now. Let's look at AAA. 2 big games, starting with the local one. It says in the second quarter, Jefferson leads Hurricane 7-6. So the Cougars in a tight one with the Redskins right now over at Jefferson High School. We'll have to keep an eye on that, and definitely keeping an eye on the other game going on today in AAA, because it determines who's going to play Martinsburg next week at Coburn Field. And it looks like we're going to have round 3 between Martinsburg and Spring Valley, unless Princeton, can pull off a major comeback. Spring Valley up in the second quarter, 35-7. Let's now go into some NCAA scores, starting with the top 25 matchups. We have Alabama in the fourth quarter all over New Mexico State, 56-3. Alabama still second in the nation, right behind Georgia. As for the sixth team in the nation, Michigan, they lead Penn State 14-6 in the fourth quarter. Oklahoma, the 8th team in the nation, losing at Baylor, who's 13th in the nation, 17-7. So it looks like Oklahoma might get its first loss of the year if that lead of Baylor's holds as is. Mississippi State's trying to come back against 17th in the nation, Auburn. It is 28-23 in the fourth quarter for that one. Wisconsin looks like they should beat Northwestern. That's in the fourth quarter, 35-7. Utah and Arizona is tied up at 14 apiece in the second quarter, and that's the only scores and games going on in the top 25 right now. As for the West Virginia Mountaineers, they are losing 30-17 in Manhattan, Kansas against Kansas State. 11:44 to go in the fourth. West Virginia needs 2 touchdowns to come back and win that one. And also a special day for Marshall. They kick off later today as they are having a memorial service and everything going on to remember that 1970 plane crash team as Marshall at home. It's another anniversary of that unfortunate loss of their players. We are Marshall, everybody in the nation today. They play UAB at 3:30 p.m. You can see that on CBS Sports Network. Let's look at some Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference games. The PSAC Championship looks like it's going to be Kutztown. They're pulling away against Slippery Rock, 38-20. So Kutztown will probably be the number 1 seed, which means Shepherd will most likely stay at number 2 and play next week to start the region playoffs. IUP just took the lead with 14 seconds to go over Westchester. They have 27 points in the fourth quarter. Wow, they were down 24-3 and have came back in the fourth to possibly upset Westchester at home. As I said, 14 seconds left in that one. It is now 30-24. Indiana University of Pennsylvania up against Westchester. Another score. Final, Edinboro 42, Millersville 21. Let's also look at another final score. Number 15 in the nation, California University of Pennsylvania beats Bloomsburg 24-9. One that's just getting ready to start the second half. Seton Hill absolutely dominating Lock Haven. 49-7 is the score there. Also, a tight one in the third quarter with 3:13 to go. Mercyhurst leads Shippensburg 13-10. And also at halftime, getting ready to start the second half, East Stroudsburg, the team that Shepherd killed last week, is up against Gannon 10-3. Also, keep an eye, as it should be currently going on. Have not heard any updates yet. The high school AAA volleyball state championship is an EPAC matchup. The number 1 seed Musselman Lady Appleman trying to get its 8th state championship, and they're going through the number 2 seed Hedgesville Eagles, who they've defeated, I believe it's 4 or 5 times already this season, but obviously this one's the most important because it's for the state championship down there in Charleston. Again, the final score, 55-0 from Ram Stadium. Shepherd now 10-1. Clarion falls to 0-10. That's going to wrap up the Home Helpers Home Care of Martinsburg Scoreboard Show. I'm Colin McLaughlin signing off for TV10 and WRNR TV on YouTube. You have to tune into the Sports Mix every weekday from noon until 1 p.m. to hear what day and time both Shepherd and Martinsburg play next week.
You've been watching play-by-play coverage of NCAA Division II football featuring the Shepherd University Rams and the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. Today's telecast has been brought to you by Smallwood and Small Insurance, Milestone Realty, the Sutton and Janelle Law Firm, Orsini's Home Store, the Mirius Group of Financial Advisors, the Palace Lounge, and the Mansion Ferretti Law Firm. TV10 Sports thanks you for watching today's presentation of Shepherd University Rams football. All rights reserved.
I picked Shepherd